Hello friends, welcome to my channel Sushant Chess Spice. Now we are going to the next level of our topics. So we are going to look at the pin. I have written here intermediate level. So intermediate level is C. This is somewhat definitely above beginner level. It can be good for around 1000 rated players and especially players those who can see around 3 moves, 4 moves deep. Okay, let's get started. I am trying to choose some interesting positions. So here what we are seeing that the pieces are, white's pieces are very active. Okay, the bishop and queen, if we look, they are trying to control the whole diagonal, which is of course blocked right now by the pawn here. Both the white rooks are very active. The rooks are on the open file. Although this rook looks like it is attacking g6, which is very well protected by knight, pawn and the rook. Okay, and also we can see the f1 rook, which is now strongly blocked by the knight on f4. But what we see here, lot of things are done by these two pieces. So pawn is covering up the diagonal, knight is blocking the file, and the knight is also defending the g6 pawn. Let's look at the other pieces. White's one of the most active pieces is the e6 bishop, which is pinning the knight on f7. And if you look at other black pieces, the rooks, queen and the rook on f8. So what we note that the queen is not really well placed. Rook on f8 is right now blocked along with the knight, and rook on h6 has gone to the side. Although it can be considered like an attacker on h2, but for defense it's not that useful. White spotted an interesting combination here. Of course, white to play and win. So rook takes f4. Forcing the opening of this diagonal, and now see, after the, if ef is not taken, white is just a piece up. This rook will simply move away, maybe rook f3, other rook f2 and f7 is lost. So e into f4, and now we see this diagonal is open, and now comes the strong move bishop h8. So this bishop h8 move is slightly difficult to spot, because we note that right now we can easily see that h8 is weak. Okay, it was a potential weakness before, and now we see that g7 is also weak. So the bishop went ahead of the g7 square, making it possible to play qg7, and now we see that there is no defense. Knight cannot move to e5 because the bishop is pinning the knight. So black played queen into e6 in the game when qg7 was checkmate. Okay, and if any other move, so then also qg7 made. The next position here, very interesting one. So now what is happening? We see that the both pieces, white and black, both are active. Okay, the queen on d4 is very active. Problem with the f8 rook is it's just a defender, and the same about f5 bishop. We can see it defends the h7 square. f5 bishop at least attacks the h3 pawn. White has several pluses. One, the rook has entered the 7th rank. The queen is quite close to the king, and mainly the black king is open. So the huge difference is there in the safety of the respective kings. And we see the d2 bishop, which at first looks like it does nothing. Okay, but still it can aim to go to this diagonal. So what we note instantly, that these pieces, king and the queen, they are in the diagonal. Okay, they are related to each other. And we see that g7 and h7 are defended by queen and bishop. So white uses a very simple tactic here, but this position is not very easy, I would say. White wants to use the idea bishop c3. See, queen h6 check, then kg8, and we are not able to improve the position here. So white went for a way which will control the c3 square. So see, queen h4 check, little bit unusual. The queen is coming back instead of going ahead towards the opponent's king. Let's see the idea. King goes to g8, forced. Okay, now queen g3 check. See, the queen again went back. King is forced to go to h8 because qg7, then qg7 made bg6 allows qg6. And after the move king h8, white has bishop c3. Very simple and effective. The bishop pins the queen. Okay, and now the queen is not able to do much. If pawn comes to c5, then bd4, cd4, qg7 mate, and after queen into c3, it's just that we have not only won the queen, but it will be made soon. So rook f6, queen f6, kg8 and qg7 wins. So the maneuver with queen which came back like this to g3 was very interesting and different. Let's look at the next position now. We again see that white pieces are very well placed. Okay, knight on h4, knight on e4. Okay, knight on h4 is eyeing towards the king side. Many would say that it's in the corner, but it attacks the g6 and f5 squares. Both white rooks are on the open file. This bishop is not looking very active, but can go to b3 and become very dangerous. The main problem with black pieces, all the pieces are behind. Only the h6 bishop is somewhat active. So white here uses ideas related to knight fork and pin, which are combined in this position. So on f5 we see that there are two attacks and two supports already. So white starts with the first move, very easy to spot, knight d6. Now what happens? Knight attacks from d6 the e8 square and the f5 square. So technically it's a knight fork position, and now the main point is what is happening when the rook moves. So let's say rook comes to e7. Okay, rook has to be saved. Then after knight f5, bishop f5, knight f5, it's very difficult to save rook and bishop both. The main idea is if rook e6, idea to save the bishop, then comes the pinning move bishop b3. So hence the pin was used way later on the third move over here. Okay. So knight d6, then knight f5, then knight f5 and bb3, actually on the fourth move, if we consider both knight f5s. And now what will happen? e6 is hanging and h6 is also hanging. White is going to take knight h6 with a check now. So the bishop has to move, and after the bishop moves, white can immediately go for as many exchanges. He can take bishop into e6, knight e6, knight g7, trade the rook, then take on e5, and the position is winning. Okay. Same would happen if black would have played direct rook e6 to knight d6. Still bishop b3 pins the rook. Okay. Let's go to the next. Position is rather somewhat easy one. What is happening right now is that black's back rank is very badly weakened. Okay. So the e8 square, what we can see is where the white rook wants to enter, and right now we see that two black pieces are controlling there. So white's pieces again we are seeing all are active. Queen is on h6 near the king, rook is on the open file, the other rook is also on the open file, controls till the e8 square, and the knight on d5 eyeing the e7 and f6 squares. So what happens here is, see, very interesting. Now it looks like after the move knight e7 check, black will simply give up his queen and then take the white queen. So the knight on e7 will be taken for free. Second problem is after the move rook into g6, okay, then here hg is perfectly possible because the queen is attacked, knight f6 check, queen f6, rook e8 is not possible because of the knight. So nothing happens here. In fact, the queen is attacked and the knight is attacked. So white is, I think, going to lose the game. So white still understood that there is some tactical possibility on the g file. So he calculated further. See, knight e7 check, it's a knight fork again here. Now if king moves to f8, not only we get knight into g6, and after fg6, rook into g6, winning the game instantly because hg, then here we see the first pin. hg, then queen h8 check. If king moves to f7 first, then queen takes the queen, winning the game. And here we are already an exchange up. Okay, so white is winning over here. So after knight e7 check, queen takes e7. Now see, rook into e7 and rook takes h6. Generally people leave the calculation over here, but if we see little further, which white saw in the game, re8 is made because of the rook spin on the right on g7. Now the see, knight cannot take the rook and the back rank might has taken place. Okay, means black couldn't take the queen, so the position was winning. Let's look at the last position here. Again we see that already there is a pin on the e file. The rook on e1 is pinning the bishop due to the queen on e7. So now what is happening? If we directly take on e6, just the pawn takes, and then queen cannot take on d5. White uses a simple tactic actually. but we have to see at least 3 moves deep here. See, white goes for the move knight c6, which is not looking possible as first because of queen into d1. But after rook into d1, knight e7 check, knight takes the queen with the check, and after the move king f8, this rook just takes. Now see, e rook takes the rook because a1 rook can take a7. Now after ke7, he will take with rook a7 and trade the rooks, and after that it's an easy win. So bishop for bishop, rook versus knight. So white is exchange up, plus he has an extra pawn, 2 extra pawns here, which he will use to make a passer. Let's see what happened in the game. After knight c6, it was forced to move the queen. Now the queen can go to see simple c7, attacking the queen and also attacking the knight. Of course, it looks like the move nd4 is possible over here. Okay, white played the simple move knight e7 check. Now the knight is doing fork, and now see, if his knight is not taken, then knight takes d5, and after the move queen e7, white simply takes the rook, queen into d5, and now see, after bishop into d5, rook takes e7, and totally winning game. So this was all about the pin positions. I hope you enjoyed these positions. Like, share and subscribe the channel. Thanks for your time.